Welcome everyone to All That Matters, a family life program sponsored by the Coconut Grove Seventh-day Adventist Church. Today we continue with our singles edition. We will be exploring questions such as, is being single a daunting experience? Is it challenging? Is it just all carefree and fun? We have with us today a young man. His name is Tevin Johnson. He's very active at his local church, and he has a passion for track and field, we are told. So today we are just going to explore his perspective on what it means to be single. So welcome, Tevin, to All That Matters.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And can you just share with us a little more about yourself? Or something a prospective individual might hear and say, oh, I would like to reach out to that young man.
Oh, first, as you mentioned earlier, I'm very active in church, a part of the audiovisual team, AY department. And also, those are just a few things that I do. As you mentioned, track and field, I really love track and field, the past Olympics, I watch everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be about it,
Okay. Tell us something career-wise, academic-wise. Are you pursuing anything? Are you in school? What are you doing?
Okay, so I graduated from Palm Beach State College in May with just a associate's in arts degree. My goal is to do public health, environmental wise, and I'm really passionate about health. So that's the field that I would love to be in. I don't like to be in offices. I like to be outside.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. So So now in terms of being single, and what the program basically is to get an idea, as like I said, your perspective on what it is to be single, and to explore, are you dating, and if you are in the process, what mechanisms are you using? So share with us, are you in that lane right now? Are you looking? And if you are looking, what form of mediums have you been using to help you in that area?
Okay. So yes, I would say I am in that area in my life where I am looking, and I use the modes of communication through social media to meet persons, and that's what the current pandemic has allowed, since we can't go out really. That's another avenue that I use, and it's been great. Have experiences, and I'm learning along the way as well.
Okay. So as you explore those various sites, what exactly are you looking for? Because I mean, you come across various diverse women on the different sites, right? And you may just read a profile, say, oh, I'm not interested, right? So share with us some of the things that would interest you and what would not interest you.
So for one, a person has to be, they have to be passionate about, the belief, in God, first and foremost. You have to be, for me, adventurous, because I'm the type of person that likes to be outdoor. And once they have like that relationship with God, I mean, the love, the empathy, the selflessness, all of those traits will follow after that. So those are some of the qualities that I see that I would look for in a potential date.
Okay. Has it been difficult?
It has not been difficult, I would say. I have, just like you said, meeting different people with different qualities and such. Not all of them have the same things that you would say, all right, you would be compatible with, right? So, and all of these women are amazing women. They have great qualities, but to see what would work with me, right? So,
okay, how bold are you in taking that second step?
For me, I don't believe in waiting too long, right? So in getting to know the person, just the general questions. your family background, what's your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. And, along the way, if I see that there are qualities that I'm looking for in someone, I would ask, that the question that a lot of people would ask, do you see us being together after this? So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you made mention that you're not the type to wait that long. Um, is there an exact time frame on that? Because for me, my interpretation could be on the 5th date or so 2 months, 3 months down the road. What is it? What's that timeline like?
I would say a couple months down the line, like, just by how you get to know the person. I think it determines how you get to know the person. It all depends on how the person communicates, right? Some person may communicate real good up front, but some might be reserved in that sense, and it may take some time to get used to them and get to know more about them. So I said about a few months.
Okay. But how did you get there? I mean, you were a young man, you were pursuing your education, and then suddenly you say, I'm just hypothetically speaking, okay? I need to have a girlfriend and eventually get married. How did you get to that state of mind? Is it a biological thing? Is it parental influence, family influence? How did you get there?
Okay, so I think it was influenced mostly, or rather two parts, like from family and also, from the church, right? Because we are big advocates of, family. So with my family having a mom and a dad, I always look and say that is something that I would desire for myself. So as a young man growing up, that's something that was on my heart, to actually have one day to have a family. And being in my mid-20s now, it's becoming more of a reality by taking more responsibilities, being more mature and stuff. So that's where I would say I'm at right now through those experiences.
Okay. Have you had any serious relationships in the past? And if yes, can you just give us a little more information as to how did that go and how did you deal with it? Because if you're single right now, so it means that there was a breakup along the way, right? How did you get past that?
It's sort of a mixture of stuff. So for over like a few years, there's always been someone on and off. Sometimes, like, you see that interest, you approach them, you talk, and you realize after you getting to know them and they get to know you, the interest is there, but there might be some qualities that I saw that might be an issue down the line. So I would have stopped it right there. So, but we're respectable of each other. So one example was that this one person, everyone knew that we probably would have been together, but I saw some things that were red flags. And I said to myself that this would be an issue along the line. And I believe that the less you have to deal with, the less conflict you have to resolve in a relationship.
Okay.
So,
did you bring that red flag to the awareness of the person, or you just walked away from the relationship? What did you do?
at that time, I wouldn't say walk away or address it. I think it was like indirectly at that time, because I was still learning the whole dating and talking thing. So it would be indirectly. So
Okay.
you would say probably walked to
Okay.
observe, but the person said that at that time they were avoiding the question when I asked them that I'm interested and all that. They were avoiding because they were talking to somebody else.
You said that you were learning, and of course it is still a learning process, right? If you were to find yourself in the same situation today, would you handle it the very same way?
No, I would not.
Because?
As I said, but then I was new to it, but now I have more experience with it. So I would have asked, talk with the person and, address those issues. to see that if it's something that we could work on, or is it something that you won't work on, then I will have to say, okay, I have to make a decision whether I would continue with it or, you know.
Okay. Okay. You come across as a very kind, easygoing gentleman. Has there ever been an occasion, whether it's in dating or even with just your friends, you know, you guys are interacting, and they brought across to you a character trait that's not pleasant, that the a prospective individual would just not tolerate, and you are of the mindset that, you know what, that's probably right?
I haven't had much feedback from persons, especially of the opposite sex. I did ask, like, what do they observe with me so I can improve? And they say they didn't really see anything. So
okay, that's like a plus, right?
I guess so.
All right, Tevin. That is rather that's rather interesting. You made mention that your interest is in the health field. It's a broad
Yeah.
area, right? While you are looking, or even while you were studying, were you dating then? Were you interested in dating? How did you balance that lifestyle?
Okay. So with school, I was still focusing on studying and get the foundations in. So at that time, dating wasn't necessarily on my mind. But after a while, it, recognizing my age and all of that came into play, I started to think, maybe it's time again to get more serious into this and try it out and see, where it goes. So I tried to, in terms of balance in both, my studies didn't really suffer in that sense where I was trying to pursue someone.
Okay. As we said in the introduction, right, about it's being single, all carefree and fun. Is it daunting? Is it challenging? As a young man, and knowing that it happens to women also, right? When it comes to chemistry, right? Even in your search and things of that sort. How are you able to remain pure in your mind and physically also? How are you able to do that? How are you able to submit to that, your feelings and stuff like that?
To know that, and so, valid question. It is something that a lot of us, especially youth, deal with the natural desires and how to keep those in check. What helped me was the fact that not only people around me that shared their experiences that when they were growing up, and how I've learned as well, even in the word, starting to read and stuff and realizing that, the word says, flee youthful lust and all. And I wouldn't say it would always be an easy road. It was never an easy road for me, but the Lord helped me to really, renew my mind and.
Okay. Okay. Do you cook?
I can cook.
You can cook? Okay. Share with us one of your favorite dishes.
I love to make curry chickpea, predominantly vegetarian style. So, curry chickpea and rice and peas. That's my go-to. If I'm going to prepare anything, that would be what I would prepare.
So would it be fun having someone in the kitchen with you? Would you find it just a fun experience, or do you want to be in the kitchen all by yourself? You do your thing, the person sits down and just wait upon you to, present what you're cooking?
I would prefer the person to be there with me.
Okay.
And engage in the preparing of the meal.
Okay. And final question before we take a break. What is your favorite junk food?
I don't think I have a favorite junk food.
You don't have a junk food? Okay. What about chocolate?
I don't think I really eat chocolate.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, guys, we will be right back. Okay, as we ponder on that thought that Kevin just left us with. Okay.
Want to Know All That Matters, a family life web series hosted by Coconut Grove SDA Church on the YouTube channel, second and fourth Sunday, 7 p.m. Join us for All That Matters.
We're back! Coconut Grove SDA Food Distribution every first and third Sunday on the church property, located at 3602 Furrow Avenue. What's better than a healthy and hearty cooked meal on a Sunday afternoon? Come by, grab a plate, and enjoy food that's cooked with love. We begin at 1 p.m. sharp, and everyone is invited. We hope to see you there.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. And today, this evening, we have with us Tevin Johnson, and he left us with a big smile, saying that he doesn't really care for junk food, and he couldn't name a favorite chocolate. So let's just continue, and we'll see whether he changes his mind at the end of this interview. Okay. So Tevin, you are Seventh-day Adventist. You are searching for an individual. Have you looked in your local church? Have you looked where? I know you said you've been looking on websites, right? But what about your local church? What about your next door church? Have you been looking there? Have you, are those places that you're comfortable with finding an individual?
I would say not really in my local church or neighboring church. There have been persons that I thought, there was some interest, but that's where it actually ended. It didn't move on anywhere from just the mere interest. But to have somebody in the local church, there's not many in my local church right now. So that makes it a lot more difficult in that sense.
Okay. Is the proximity an issue, do you think?
In terms of the location of the church, right?
Not just the location of the church, but just be in church, right? Say if I'm in church, if I were of that age group, right? And you're a young man, I'm a young man. We've been in such close proximity and we're seeing each other on a weekly basis. Would that be an issue for you, or would it be more interesting to find someone in a distant church and then have that interest going on back and forth instead of it being localized?
I think it would be best for me to have it more in terms of the distance instead of locally. That though you'll be seeing that person each and every Sabbath, though they're at a distance, also eventually you want them to be where you are worshiping, right? Or where they are worshiping. So I would say, like, in terms of distance, I would prefer that instead of like local church.
Okay. We spoke earlier about influence. Okay. You made mention of your parents and their relationship, and that's something that you thought of emulating as you got older, right? Now you are of the age of looking their vision for you, their wish for you in terms of the person that they want you to have. Does it have an impact on whom you are looking for?
I would say yes. And
share with us, like, how much of an impact?
It's not really a big impact, but it helps in that way. So with my mom, she would say that the person that she would love for me to have is someone that fears the Lord. That's what she would say. Fears the Lord in terms of
fears the Lord. Okay.
So that's all she said. But with other people around me, they shared their experiences and certain things, and I started to develop my own things that I would like to see within the person along the way.
Okay, so this kind of like gives you a guide, I guess, a focus, right? Yes. Okay. COVID it has changed a number of things that there were traditional ways that we did things before COVID. And because of COVID, as you pointed out earlier, the way that you go about seeking an individual, not that it is limited to online, stuff like that, but that 90% is like online, okay? What are some of the gains that you've had during COVID, whether it's for you as an individual, building up yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, academically, whatever it is, right? How have you grown during that time?
Okay, so with the current pandemic, it taught me a lot about the importance of family and being intentional with those who are around you. So there were more growth in that year since COVID than in previous years. It was like a rapid growth because a lot of persons had a lot of downtime to really think. So for me, I started to assess myself to see where I am, would say, deficient in terms of emotional health, mental health, and also physically as well. So there are some strategies that I've implemented along the way, like attending the gym, started working out, riding my bike, being more supportive of my family, and reading more. So those are some of the things that helped me along the way.
Okay. Okay. You are on our program, All That Matters, right? Would you be interested in us putting your information out there that, you're actively looking and try to match you with an individual?
Sure.
It's like, okay, give it a shot, so let's see what happens.
Why not?
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that might be daunting. Also, we've already talked about one or two issues, right? But let us talk about you happen to see an individual and you are interested in that person. And you made mention earlier that right now you've achieved your associate and you're pursuing, you're continuing your academics, right? You meet a young lady and she's a doctor, right? She has reached that level and she is interested in Tevin. The fact that she is a doctor, she you're not yet there where she's at in terms of academics, so we can say that it's not really balanced. Would you be daunted with that by such an individual?
Honestly, for myself, I wouldn't see a person's like career determines the level of respect that you would actually give them, right? So for someone to be a doctor and for them willing to work with me as I am in the pursuit of my own career goals, I think that's a unique type of trait. Not many persons have that or even will think that. So for it to be, all right, for me to look at it and say it's rather daunting, I wouldn't say it is.
Okay. Okay, so I stated that the person is interested in pursuing you, right? And then you said that, no, it's not daunting. Well, let's do it the other way around. Would you be comfortable in pursuing that person?
Yes.
Like approach the young lady and let her know that I'm interested in you.
Yes, I would.
Yes, you would. Okay, it would not faze you in any shape or form.
No, once I see the person's intention,
Okay.
the intention of the heart.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little more about Tevin. 5 years from now, we're looking at Tevin. Tell us something about what your aspirations. What do you see for yourself?
All right. So in 5 years, I see myself as a environmental health educator, and hopefully see myself having a family by then, and also traveling the world.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those are those three things that
Okay.
are dear to my heart.
Okay. No, very good, very good. And as you wait, because sometimes the wait is it can be challenging, right? And for a number of reasons that we made mention of, okay, biological clock, you pursuing your education and things of that sort, right? So in your waiting, um, your relationship with God, is it stagnant? Do you see it growing? And what are some of the things, for example, scripture verses or songs or whatever it is that help to keep you focused and just help to keep you in your rightful standard with God?
So with being in a state of singleness, the relationship that I had with God actually grew, and there were a lot of pressures outside, but I resorted back to see what God has for me, and I wanted God's best and nothing less. So so with there are Bible verses that help me even along the way, just to reassure myself, such as once you submit yourself to the Lord, He will grant the desires of your heart. Right? So I said the Lord knows. The Lord talks about in Proverbs about
Okay.
the description of a woman and all of these, and how God loved the church, and a woman represents all of those. So I realized that the Lord used women a lot to represent different things, and in that state, I would just say that my relationship with God has grown, and it's I would say that it's going on, and the Lord indeed has shown a whole lot during that period, or during this period, where I'm still learning. So I'm just waiting on the Lord to move.
Okay. So before we end our interview, because I see that the time is almost fast spent, right? It seems that men are a little more carefree, okay, in this area, being single. Why? Because statistically, we know that there are more women than men in the world. So you are at an advantage where you can pick and choose between 5 women, whereas as a woman, I would have to just look at one, zero in on him and see if I'm interested in things of that sort. Are you taking advantage of that statistic?
I would say yes, in some way. Because having so many women with different qualities that you see, it somewhat difficult to say, all right, this one is that one when this one has this other trait. But what I've learned is that what matters to you and what can you handle, right? And love is a choice. Love is a choice. What if that person never changes? Will you still accept them for who they are, right? So I believe it's rather a choice. And someone said to me once, a friend of mine said to me, "You're like a kid in a candy shop. You don't know what to choose, which candy to choose." But I say that having the variety and the option to choose, I think somewhat it does help. But to be carefree, I want to be carefree.
So let us explore that a little further, right? Because I know that you, and when I say you, I'm referring to all men, right? You have that advantage. It puts me on guard to protect my children or my other female friends, because you can have individuals. Or tell me your share your thoughts with me on that. a guy, because he has that option, who just want to date every young person. When I say person, every young lady, and say, oh, I've dated her before, I've dated her, I can tell you about her, and things of that sort. So what's your thought on such a mentality?
I don't think it's Christ-like or manly. Because going around telling individuals that you date that person, I don't see the benefit in all of that. And there's a quote that I read and hold dear to my heart. It says, "Trifling with hearts is a sin of no small magnitude in the sight of a just and holy God," right? So we have to be able to guard your own heart and guard the heart of someone else, so that they won't be emotionally attached to you. In that sense, when you know that they're interested in you and you're not, but you're playing with someone else's heart. You know, for me, I completely disagree with that. I say it's not godly.
I think that is a very strong, profound thought that you just said. So let's end it on that thought again. Can you just repeat it?
Trifling with hearts is a sin of no small magnitude in the sight of a just and holy God.
Amen. Amen. And with that, we'd like to say thank you to Tevin Johnson for joining us on All That Matters. I hope that you have gained some insight on his perspective on being single this evening. And we hope to see you next time. And Tevin, we do hope that you meet a young, beautiful, inspiring young lady that will help that wholesomeness that we just viewed this evening. I think you should be commended on what we just saw. So thank you very much, and Godspeed, everyone. We will see you next time. Bye.